Hi, welcome back to part three of this tier, how neighborhoods feed and make money. So in part three, we're going to be looking at sustainable neighborhoods, urban metabolism, and sustainable economies and examples about these. So to create a sustainable neighborhood, three areas must be met or looked at. The first one is food and shopping, meaning the food waste. We're reusing the waste and making compost. Local and in season, eating local and in season, reclaiming and reusing. So this has to do with materials being in circular economy, not throwing things away. Agriculture and rural links. Then we have transport, car use, and commuting. So eco holidays, staycation, not traveling. This means not traveling. Kind of what's happening at the moment. Public transport, transport hub, live, work, play. Then we have the one third, the other third goes to renewable electricity, water use, building fabric, and heating and hot water. Now, in designing neighborhoods, we also think of designing communities. So in our communities, there are ways through our neighborhoods where we can build networks and find mutual support within our community. And we can also find strength and weaknesses and leverage in all areas, meaning if there is a problem, we can look at the pros and cons and find ways where we can focus on improving the weaknesses and also make use of our strengths. Learn from nature and practice whole systems thinking. This is what we call biomimicry, and we look at nature to find solutions. And I will be explaining how you can refer to biomimicry in order to help you in your task for this year at the end. So you have to also engage all stakeholders in designs for the future, meaning all the people and all the things that are involved. Stakeholders means whoever's been affected. So it could be the people, it could be the government, it could be the biodiversity, it could be animals. All of these together could be the soil as well. So all of these are things that can be impacted. So considering all of these together, and if possible to have a say and an understanding for each one of them and let them co-create and co-design together. Identify the appropriate scale for efficient solutions. Some solutions could be short-term, some solution could be long-term. So you want to think when you design a house, you're thinking this is a long-term solution, a long-term design, let's say, and if you're designing a garden, is this going to be just for a certain season, or are you going to use this land for a long-term use? Honor traditional wisdom while integrating positive innovation. This is really a key factor over here when we look at what our grandparents used to do, and we are working with eco-friendly material, let's say, because that's how they used to, most of the things that they did were specifically material and energy and space efficient. So if we look at what traditional, and even in medicine, so that can also open doors for new ways of making money. The next one is for culture. How does culture, how can I in my culture learn, and in my neighborhood have these places and opportunities to reconnect with nature? And also, how do I practice low impact lifestyle in my house and in my neighborhood? How do I keep my cultural traditions there in place? How do we engage actively to protect nature together and protect our identity as a community? How do we nurture mindfulness and personal growth all the time, specifically at days and times of stress? How do we connect to a higher purpose in life? How do we celebrate life and diversity through art? How does my community and my neighborhood and my city show celebration of life and diversity in different ways of expressing art? Also for society, how do we cultivate in our community and cities and neighborhoods responsive and inclusive, transparent decision making? How do I involve everyone in informing decisions? Even in schools, how do I inform the youth? How do I inform the adults? How do I involve the adults and the youth? Empower participatory leadership and good governors, which is the same idea of having everyone co-create and co-design and listen to their points of view and solutions that they have in mind. Practice conflict facilitation, communication, and peace building skills. There's always going to be areas of conflict, but there's a way to listen to perspectives. And when people listen to each other's perspective, or we can map out their perspectives without even listening. You know, you can just put their perspectives on a map and have them look at these perspectives without knowing who said that. And then at the end, we can have people meet together and reflect back on their perspectives and how they changed before and after, in order to get to a neutral way of looking at things from, you know, different perspectives. Embracing diversity and build a thriving community. In every community there is going to be different people and different races. So we have to understand that diversity makes our lives possible, because each race comes with a different culture and experience. So if we mix together, we actually thrive better. Develop fair and effective and accountable institutions, equal and lifelong access to holistic education and healthcare in our neighborhoods and cities. Sustainable economy, we need to reconstruct concepts of wealth, work, and progress. So in the first video, we talked about the meaning of wealth. And so this is really if you look at the first video for part 1 for this tier, it's basically, it talks about the types of wealth. Generate well-being for all through economic justice. This is very important because in behavioral economics, there's a strong correlation between well-being and making money. And so if we are, or not even making money, but wealth in general. So if we are feeling wealthy, we are healthy. That's the correlation. If we have a healthy environment around us, which is really a type of wealth, we are also feeling wealthy and healthy. So all of these different types of wealth, if you know 2, 3, or 4 of them are available, we do feel we will feel better, and we will feel healthy because of this kind of wealth available. Empower and strengthen local economies. We're going to look at some examples at the end of this video. And invest in fair trade and ethical systems of exchange. So we are giving a fair share to everyone, and we are managing people's energy and making them happy, not by using them and exploiting them. Cultivating social entrepreneurship to create sustainable solutions. So have people you know, involved in different ideas to make money in our neighborhood, city, and country. Innovate and spread, the last one for green chemistry and ecology. Innovate and spread green buildings and technologies. Clean and replenish sources and cycles of water. Increase biodiversity and regenerate ecosystems in our neighborhoods. Grow food in our neighborhoods and soils through organic agriculture. Move towards 100% renewable energy, and work with waste as a valuable resource. In community engagement in a neighborhood, we can have cooking activities, hiking activities, biking activities, outdoor yoga, outdoor painting activities, outdoor exhibitions, learn how to plant and grow food forests, permaculture courses. Swales can be built for water catchment. We can build eco homes for the local community. People can come together and build homes together. People can take part in discussions to design ethical futures. People can exchange knowledge, poetry, and art and music at nights together. People can play music by a bonfire, but not make sure that it's not too much, so it doesn't affect the birds. Make organic compost together. They can make useful materials they can create new materials by finding wealth in waste, and they can have open air cinema events. They can also stay at local refuges in their neighborhood or in the community or in their city. They can book a local swimming pool, and that swimming pool could be a way for people to make money. The owners of that swimming pool could use it as a place for people to go and just find a way to have fun, make eco-friendly products at home, or it could be like a small business where people can make money out of it, and they can have nature cleanup events. So this will meet the 6 goals for permaculture: catching and storing rainwater, growing your own food, create your own resources, build, retrofit your home to heat and cool itself. And we will be focusing on these 3 and 4 in tier 3. And reduce or categorized waste, which is making compost, and getting to know your neighbors as much as you can by these activities that can make people meet together. Now, let's talk about education. Education in 2100. So we're having a futuristic look over here. So the age, educators and learners, everybody has to teach and everybody has to learn at any age. And through hands-on experiences and nature experiences and discussions, with technical and digital aspects also being implemented. Where is this happening? It's happening in community hubs, in the outdoors, more than indoor settings. This is also good for protection against viruses and bacteria. Skills to be taught and learned: presentation, written, visual, and verbal skills, technical skills, water catchment, how to ride a bike, swimming, permaculture techniques, building eco-friendly homes, green chemistry, playing music, sports, arts, poetry writing, reading and writing, nutrition and cooking, traditional medicine and medical practice basics, renewable energy installation, designing regenerative and sustainable communities, ways of how can we get all resilient together. And if you like, you can look at tier 2 of the first part, which talks about designing regenerative cultures and communities. Community participation in shaping policies. Have co-design or participatory design where there's reflective practice in working with participation and citizens' engagement in relation to different issues, from the design of technologies to social innovation, from urban planning to production processes. It connects, among others, to the topics of co-creation, open innovation, user-driven innovation, and social innovation, design activism, cultural production, living labs, fabrication labs and urban planning, co-production products, and system design. One example would be to have like people to participate, have an opinion about a certain, have the people participate regularly in one of the ideas for them to co-create solutions. Let's say about COVID-19 involved the people a lot in finding solutions. The governments were seeking ideas from the population and from the people. So I've seen in Hawaii, there's the electricity company. It allows people to come up with goals for their community and their neighborhood about how they want the energy to be, their renewable energy consumption to be in their area. And then the electricity and the engineers and the electricity company, what they do is they establish these goals for them through the technology that they know. And so the board of directors are basically the people in the community. So that's a strong example of co-design. Some examples of sustainable urban planning strategies is we can have days where people they go and they clean their streets, and the municipality people, they take a break. So this will create empathy, will reduce waste, and because there's going to be more awareness about waste quality and quantity. People can work from home, and schools can also have a hybrid system where they can work from home. This will reduce the carbon footprint and will give flexibility and reduce the extra travel time, and use that time in leisure and exercise. That will also reduce the noise and traffic and will create safer roads and cleaner roads. Connect utilities, including clean bathrooms and marked and guided pathways and shops in outdoor areas for better tourism and for greater safety. So in many areas in the Middle East, you will not find bathrooms or utility connections to outdoor areas where people can go and hike safely. So if we do that, I mean, when I hiked in the Alps, there were like bathrooms in the mountains, and you would wonder how even they put toilet paper in them when they in areas where that can only be reached on, by helicopters and mules and motorcycles. So they made it possible. Now, create technological connections for a smart city concept, providing an important overlay onto a good urban plan. And so, the digital aspects. Also, encourage outdoor gyms as much as possible. Now we're going to watch a video about the meaning of urban metabolism.
Since 2007, for the first time in history, more people live in cities than in rural areas. Cities consume 75% of Earth's resources and account for 60 to 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and they're growing by the second. By 2050, more than 2/3 of the world's population will live in cities. Limits to Earth's resources challenge the ability of cities to accommodate this growth. At the rate at which humanity consumes today, we would require the equivalent of 1.6 Earths to continue to meet our resource needs and absorb our wastes. But we only have one. To live within the planet's boundaries and improve quality of life for the poor, we need to achieve more with less. Cities must supply services in ways that are resource efficient, climate friendly, resilient, and equitable. Urban metabolism studies help us to understand what happens to resources in a city between their points of entry and their exit from the city as wastes. By viewing the city as an organism that consumes resources and produces wastes, we can find ways to improve resource use and reduce environmental impact. Many cities have what is called a linear metabolism, where the vast majority of resources that enter the city leave it again as solid, liquid, and airborne wastes. The key to a sustainable, resilient city is to harness these wastes as resources. This results in resource flow loops and a circular metabolism. For example, wastewater treatment plants can go beyond cleaning water to capture methane for energy and nutrients to enrich the soil. Recirculating these resources within the city can reduce resource imports and wastes. Urban metabolism studies can be used to identify appropriate infrastructure and planning interventions that will save resources. This not only saves the city money in the long run, but can also help to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane. City stakeholders can lead the way by monitoring their resource use, learning from similar cities, educating decision makers about infrastructure alternatives, and improving resource efficiency in their buildings and operations. To learn how to better manage resources in your city, visit www.resourceefficientcities.org.
Okay, so now on to some sustainable urban planning strategies for urban metabolism. And these are some of the suggestions that I have made for and in Jordan. So green buildings, changing codes for green buildings to abide by green architecture and use renewable energy for net zero carbon, grow food on the roof, process rainwater and stormwater. And so if architects comply with building codes on essential part of pushing the industry towards energy efficiency, we can have also the municipalities to adopt these codes and monitor the progress. This would mean that homes and architecture, they work with nature in catching water, they use eco-friendly material of construction, and they create wellness, beauty, and have a sustainable feed source. There's also going to be a payback for time for energy and material, and therefore cost saving, so in a linear system. we get all of these benefits. Builders and property managers can also reduce energy use for most components of urban infrastructure and material products. They would extend the service life and intensify the use of materials. So this also creates the sustainable material flow. For existing built environment, set a basis for assessing the efficiency or quality of buildings and infrastructure and the benefit of retrofitting existing buildings and infrastructure to reuse and recycle components and materials from buildings that have been demolished. This will increase the proportion of post-use product and reuse it, increase the portion of post-use produced material and recycled. This will also reduce the amount of energy through recycling and also during material production. So basically, when we talk about our neighborhoods, we have to think saving food, saving water, and saving energy. And so we think of the concept of refusing, upcycling, reducing. And so for energy, we're trying to use low impact material. We're using things again. We innovate for new technologies and we optimize the use of materials, meaning that we have to maintain them and keep them for as long as possible. And some countries and many countries are becoming water scarce. And so that's why we have to find ways to manage the water and catch the water better. And we have to always remember that the resources are being really limited. Material cycle analysis resources. This is a page by the Pratt Institute that gives us for materials. You can, if you click on this link, you're going to get a list of different types of materials that come in the production of materials. And they can tell you if this material is, they can tell you how the source of it. Is it eco-friendly? Can it be recycled again? Is it something that can be upcycled? And so you can get all of the details, and I will show you now how this looks like. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It's by the Pratt Institute, where I studied biomimetic design and material life cycles. So you can click through the links provided to view an in-depth chart for each material explaining the entire life cycle from raw materials to processing to distribution and use, ending in disposal. And you can see the impacts on each, on resources, human health, and the environment along every step of the way. The types of materials are also explained, as well as the tips on what to look for in each material to minimize its environmental impact. So it's really great and amazing. So ceramics, let's say you have ceramics over here, you have composites, you have glass, and over there, by the way, when I went there, you can see all of these materials and you can test them and see them in front of you. They have a wide range of each kind of material you can imagine. Metals, paintings, coatings, paper, plastic, rubber, stone, textiles, wood. So mostly everything that we have around us. So we can click on ceramic, let's say, and you can see over here the material life cycle for ceramics. So the raw materials, the processing, the distribution, reuse, and so they tell you information about each part that you can figure out. And so when you choose your materials, you're aware. There's no recycling of no raw materials, but ceramics can be downcycled by grounding them to create a new product. Okay, that's good. All right, so, but therefore you have to find the person who needs to use this again, not just dump it. And so here you'll find the energy, the environmental, and the human piece, and the culture piece as well over here. And then you can see the impact. Yeah, so you have the resource usage, the human health, the environmental, and the social equity. And they explain a lot more over here, what to look for. And yeah, it's excellent for you to look deeper into this whenever you're trying to choose a type of material. Okay, so for the sustainable economy goals and potential outcomes for Jordan, the proposal that I have written, these were the goals that I was aiming for. Cultivating social entrepreneurship to create sustainable solutions, invest in fair trade and ethical systems of change, generate well-being for all through economic justice, empower and strengthen local economies, and ensure equitable ownership of land and resources. So for the tourism and retreats, we can encourage local ecotourism businesses. These businesses would organize trips to places of natural beauty in a way that helps local people and does not damage the environment. This would improve the well-being and generate local financial flow and exchange, as well as global and travel restrictions, even when global and travel restrictions are removed. Encourage local agritourism businesses, which helps preserve rural lifestyle and landscape and offers the opportunity to provide sustainable or green tourism to link the organic agriculture with agritourism and tourism services. And also support permaculture schools to educate the people on how to plant food forests, save water and make compost and practice energy and material efficiency in their daily lifestyle, invest and support local agriculture and identify more land to design food forests with polycultures. These improve the soil and the food quality and provide with more capital, improve the climate. Support equestrians, animal and bird shelters, as well as many botanical gardens in cities. These open and safe spaces would generate a local income and improve the climate and human well-being. Empathy and awareness towards the role of living things in improving our lives. Encourage the use of land and for agriculture and permaculture in cities and homes, especially that many areas in Jordan are uniquely known for their fertile soil and their ability to catch and capture water for a long time, as in the type of soil. Encourage polycultures to generate a diverse and fresh, healthy produce. Support the opening of cycling shops and outdoor gyms and businesses, encourage environmental and sustainability and NGOs, encourage open air cinema businesses, which would be healthier and safer post-COVID-19. For factories, shops, and companies, promote the demand for recycled material. One possibility would be to take initiatives like offering tax concessions on scrap and recycled material and incentivizing public procurement of products made from recycled material, promote innovation in energy and material efficiency in recycling industry, which requires high feedstock, promote innovation to make bioplastics, request and support local factories to make washable gloves, especially at times of, whenever there are pandemics. This would entail encouraging and educating the public via government media platforms, and these can also be exported to other countries. Limit the selling of disposable gloves to only medical consumption and sell washable gloves in shops. If cafes, shops, and restaurants and service offices need to supply visitors and consumers with disposable gloves, then the specific bins for disposable gloves are to be collected, sterilized, and treated, then recycled to make other products that can be sold and used again. This would limit and eliminate the waste and protect biodiversity, as well as generate job opportunities and lower the cost of supplies. Set codes and laws for factories and importing companies to collect the containers of used products that they make and import and sell, and design a waste management system. Setting bins in shops, factories, and companies, in homes, and roads for plastic, paper, glass, and organic waste collection, treatment, and sterilizing to create an opportunity for new local businesses and reduce the cost of raw materials to reduce the need to import and significantly cut down on waste. Encourage second-hand shops and sustainable fashion industry. Support and encourage the public and businesses to make eco-friendly products to create a new local and global market to protect the health of the environment and the people. Encourage small businesses and factories to make sugar-free products as a market for healthy products that can cure and prevent autoimmune and chronic diseases on the long run. Encourage trade of goods and services as an alternative to only financial capital exchange. not set limits on paper consumption. Set limits on paper consumption in schools and offices, and resort to e-books and e-services and e-receipts where possible. Training programs, make channels and educational series, documentations, and social media platforms to educate and raise awareness about sustainability, to generate another source of income and improve wellness and gain skills and support the environment on the long run. More technical schools, and provide support to them through the scope of green architecture design in mind. This will generate a source of income on the long run and would raise the home design standards with material and energy efficient and eco-friendly methods. Start education for sustainability training centers organizations and companies to get requests from them to be professional, to get professional development training courses on sustainability, as well as adding sustainability goals in the mission, and offer a sustainability director position in each school, factory, company, whatever organization they have. Professional development programs for necessary technological changes, information technology and automation. For greening businesses and homes, set codes from houses and buildings to install energy-saving lights. Request from electrical engineering and research and development professionals to innovate to convert existing petroleum cars to e-cars to reduce the carbon footprint, reduce the extraction and consumption of resources from Earth, and request from shops that sell electrical goods to relicense them to be fixed and upgraded. This is the new cradle to cradle and circular economy recommendation for the technical cycle to mirror the biological cycle so that things get reused again. Assign codes to remove excessive packaging of vegetables and fruits in farmers markets. This would also reduce the cost of making and buying the packaging and on overall the cost of items, as well as cut down on plastic waste. Replace the eco-friendly packaging with a limit to reduce the cutting of trees. So basically, eco-friendly packaging is not a good idea. You know, we're still cutting trees. Reduce and relax taxes to encourage renewable energy and green architecture. Put sanctions on companies and organizations, factories and cars that fail to comply by environmentally responsibility laws. Green architecture codes should be set also for school design, factories, companies and businesses. Designed for passive thermal control and ventilation. This means natural naturally heated and cooled areas and ventilated areas, natural lighting, photovoltaic cells, eco-friendly raw materials of construction, water catchment, food forest and efficient use of space and land. Now let's take a look at the biomimicry aspect and how nature does its economy and ways of generating wealth. So basically, if you go to the website asknature.org and you type in economy, so if you look up asknature.org, you click on that, and now this will take you to the main page. Click on biological strategies. Then click on, just type in the search toolbar, economy. When you do that, you're going to get several examples of how nature supports material and energy economy and makes wealth. So these ideas, you can also see more results. So in here, you can see a lot of examples that could be also implemented on the human level, and so to get an inspiration from the natural world. So click on these strategies, you can get some examples that might inspire you for designing wealth and more wealthy and a sustainable economy for your neighborhood or your city or your school or yourself. Okay?